Here's the thing with aces. You either usually win a small pot or you lose a big pot. And there it is! Oh my goodness!
Hello and welcome to the first episode ever of America's Poker Tour. I'm Fred Bevel and we are at the first event ever of America's Poker Tour. We are at the Majestic Star Casinos here in Gary, Indiana, just outside of Chicago. We've had a lot of fun here this week, and that's what America's Poker Tour is designed to be. A lot of fun for us and our players. The schedule has been filled with side events, single table satellites, multi-table qualifiers, and of course the cash games have been on fire all week long as well. Now, this main event was $1,100 to get in, but a lot of players got in on the cheap for as little as $250 through our satellite and qualifier system. And we had a lot of fun this week, all surrounded by hot poker action. So let's take a quick glimpse at all the fun that was had this week and showcase the road to the final nine. We kicked off the week with a $200 deep stack event that drew hundreds of players, generating a prize pool of over $100,000. Now, when you come to Chicago, you better bring your A game because this field was riddled with local pros and savvy amateurs. And the man who bested this field was none other than Bob Chow, a known player here in the Chicagoland area, and he took home over $20,000 for his $200 buy-in. Not a bad return on the investment on any day. There was also a lot of jewelry in this poker room as bracelet winners Joe Catta, David Williams, and Dutch Boyd all came to Chicago along with hundreds of other grinders to be the inaugural America's Poker Tour champion.
So the dust has settled on this inaugural field, and here are the final 9 players. Top prize, just under $48,000. As we can see, the action is on Marty Gornick, and directly to his left is Ben Castle, both old friends of mine. They've been playing poker a long time. Both have a nice little poker resume built up over the years. Looks like Marty's going to raise it up to $40,000. Ben folds. Now over to Lee Shen in the 9 seat. He's going to lay it down. And now over to Kenny Wynn. He's got ace deuce offsuit. He's going to be conservative. And this is Alex Ziskin. He folds. Now in the 3 seat is Ron Kruk. And now over to Jack Torkeles. He's also going to lay it down. And in the 5 seat there is Pavlin Karakakov. I'm just going to call him Steve from now on. He looks down at ace-king suited. So I'm expecting a 3-bet from him, and it's going to be the big one. He is all in. And ace-10 shrinks up real quick when you raise it under the gun. And when you get 3-bet all in from the big blind, it's going to make you think, and Marty is going to lay it down. Dominated going into the flop was Marty. If he chose to play the hand, only would have had 1 live card in the 10.
You know you can make me fold. Marty, you should have left. I mean, it was your first hand. You don't want to get eliminated. I'm risking all my stock. You know, he might have a hand.
You got to watch out when a Russian raises you all in. I'm just saying. Ace-5 offsuit for Mr. Lee Shen in the 9 seat. Over to Kenny Wynn. Garbage. Now Alex. Queen 3 offsuit. Another easy fold. And this is Ron Kruk. Everybody just folding around the horn. No one's got live cards right now. And we heard Pavlin in the 5 seat ask Ben Castle how much he's starting the hand with. And he did that before he looked down at his cards. So he had a plan, but the cards weren't there to back it up. $57,000 in the pot. That's dead money waiting for someone to take a stab at it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Hey, you too.
And Mike Mufasa here with not really a hand in 4-3 offsuit, but he's on the button. It's been folded to him. Why not raise it into 2 random hands? But wow, Marty woke up with a hand in ace-jack, and he 4-bet all in here.
I don't know if you like.
And Ben Castle with 9-10 offsuit has an easy decision. And Mike is just going to have to lay this down and lick his wounds.
Yeah, like a few shorts. This is a war. First hand I had is
We're opening up.
he got 10 blinds, he opened under the gun.
You're right. And now you know why I shoved that hand.
Yeah, like
Exactly what I thought you were going to do.
He opened, he didn't raise.
Little friendly smack talk happening around the table. More action here at Majestic Star Casino on America's Poker Tour when we come back. Welcome back to America's Poker Tour here at the Majestic Star Casino in Gary, Indiana, just outside of Chicago. I'm Fred Bevel, and this is Kenny Wynn in the one seat. He's going to fold over to Alex Ziskin. If you're just joining us, this is our inaugural event here on America's Poker Tour. Very thankful to Majestic Star Casino for hosting our inaugural event. We had a fine turnout here. So we held a few flights over the weekend for the main event, had a lot of cash tournaments throughout the week, plenty of satellites and qualifiers for everybody to get into this $1,100 event. Some for as little as $50. This is our Russian friend, Pavlin Karakakov. He is going to raise to $40,000 with King Jack offsuit. And Mike is going to call with Ace Jack suited. Marty on the button is going to lay it down over to Ben Castle in the small blind. And with a raise and a call in front of you, the blinds are going to have pretty decent cards to want to see a flop here. Queen 5 of clubs is what Li Shen looked at, and he's going to fold. So Ace Jack versus King Jack. Pavlin, huge dog going into the flop here. Just has the one live card with the king. And the flop is 6 Ace 9 with a couple of clubs. So Mike has hit top pair. And Pavlin, the original raiser pre-flop, is going to make a continuation bet here. Out of position. And he's going to bet $41,000. He's trying to make this look like a come on, please call kind of a bet. He bet $41,000 into 130-something thousand chip pot. So no doubt Mike is going to just smooth call here and string Pavlin along to see if he's going to fire again. The turn is a 2 of hearts. Neither player has to be thinking that card helped the other. So let's see if Pavlin can fire yet another bullet. Does not look like it. He's going to slow it down and check. And Mike is not going to let him see a free river card here. $219,000 in the pot, and Mike is going to fire $83,000 at it. And that is enough to let Pavlin lay it down.
Good hand, Mike.
Not a good hand.
So Mr. Mustafa is going to pocket $302,000 in chips.
That's a good hand.
Top prize here at Majestic Star Casino is a little under $48,000. Second place is going to go home with just under $30,000. Third place, just under $20,000. So these guys playing for a good hunk of change here on a Sunday evening. Action is folded around to Marty.
Not looking like that,
And Marty is going to lay it down as well. Over to Ben Castle. And Ben is going to go all in with Ace 7 suited with only $122,000 in his stack. I think that's a fine bet. And that's going to give Lee to lay it down along with Kenny. Over to Alex. Alex wakes up with a pocket pair. And Alex has $1.2 million in his stack. So this is not a lot to call.
Look, Ben.
And Alex is going to re-raise it. He wants to isolate one-on-one here with Ben. And with a small pocket pair, that's exactly what you should do, in my opinion. And that is going to clear the way. Ben's going to find out he's basically a coin flip here. He's got 2 overcards to the pocket 5s, and he's got the clubs. So you can see with the hand statistics, 50-50 is where it's at. Here comes the flop. There's a club in the window along with another club. So queen, 10, 7, a couple of clubs. Ben picks up a flush draw. And that turn card gives Ben the nut flush. And just for posterity, a king on the river would give him a royal flush. But that doesn't happen. The ace of hearts falls. And Ben is going to double up here. So from 122,000 to 244,000 will be Ben's new chip count as we move on at this final table. Still waiting for our first elimination. First player knocked off at this final table is going home with just over $5,000.
Only the seventh.
Only the 7th.
That's it.
Pretty good ROI on a final table for a tournament that costs $1,100 to get into. And like I said, most of these players got in for much less than that with the APT satellite and qualifier system.
And then I think I'll fold. Is that all right?
It's all right. You're big blind.
Yeah, Ben, you're not doing anything. What are you doing with 8-5 offsuit?
I'm gonna ask.
I don't want to play my heater.
Just posturing, keeping up an image at the final table. Li Shen wakes up with my favorite hand in poker, King Queen. I call it Mom and Dad.
Jimmy, you know that.
Did you guys put the link out there? 'Cause these guys
How
are
about a flush with 2 pairs?
And Lee is starting the hand with 202,000 in his stack, and he is going to shove them all in.
So you got Twitter right now? I mean,
Short stack poker.
yeah, if you
Lee hoping to double up just like Ben did. But he's going to have a similar situation. Ron Kruk re-raises all in here with pocket 10s. And just like Ben Castle, he's going in almost a coin flip.
What the hell's going on here?
He's got 2 overcards to the pocket pair.
All right, let's gamble.
So Lee is hoping to find some paint on the flop here, and that's exactly what he gets. It comes queen, jack, ace with a couple of spades. So Lee pairs the queens. The turn is a jack of hearts. No help for Ron. Ron needs a 10 on the river to deliver a bad beat and eliminate Lee, but the 2 of spades falls harmlessly. And Li Shin is now going to double up just like Ben Castle did a hand before.
He only got like 100.
So both the short stacks at this final table, not so short anymore. More action from Majestic Star Casino when we come back.
You know he wasn't rooting for you, right?
Welcome back to the inaugural final table here at Majestic Star Casino. You're watching America's Poker Tour, and I am Fred Bevel. We are still waiting for our first elimination here at this final 9. And it looks like Pavlin and Mike are in the blinds.
First hand?
Marty folds, and now Ben Castle looks down at Rags. He's going to fold.
Jack started the button.
Over to Li Shin, who just doubled up. And he's got suited ace 3.
It's only been a couple hands.
This is the second big one.
It took us a half hour.
And this is a good hand to just go ahead and fold, Lee. That's what I vote.
I mean, come on, guys.
Good boy.
Get one orbit.
And now we cross over the dealer onto the 1 seat. This is Kenny
I
Wynn.
mean, we got a slow dealer. That's enough, isn't it?
Kenny, also a very savvy player, known in the Chicagoland area. Plays a lot of poker here.
Oh, I feel a shove.
TV time.
This might be his last hand.
Kenny, 4 deuce offsuits. Has no intention of playing the hand.
Come on,
Hey, don't worry, they got a good
There was
thing.
a 1 second delay here.
But he's going to string them along.
Looking for TV
Posturing
time
is
right
part of poker strategy.
Wait till we find out.
I'm gonna see
And
what the hell
Ron
you're taking
Kruk
over there.
folds. Now over to Jack Torkeles, who's been pretty quiet at this final table, but he's on the button this hand.
500?
And he is going to raise it to 55,000
No, he's not.
with what's known as the rookie hand in poker, King Jack offsuited.
Looks like those are round.
They call it the rookie hand because it looks pretty, but it's easily dominated, especially when you go into a flop in a raised pot. But he's doing what you should do on the button. He raises it. That gets rid of the small blind Pavlin. And Mike is also going to fold, so a raise on the button is going to win the pot.
One-time show. We're all going to see it.
You know, you got to love this about the game of poker. A couple of days ago, all of these guys were strangers, and here we are after sitting at a table together for hours and hours. A lot of nice camaraderie and banter going on. Blinds are 12 and 24,000, now with a 4,000 chip ante. Mike Mufasa is going to wake up with ace-jack suited. Pretty looking hand, but under the gun at a 9-handed table.
Yeah.
Interesting decision to be made here by Mike. General philosophy, if you're going to play it, you might as well raise it. And that's what Mike does. He's going to make it 55,000. Just a little min raise, a little baby bump. Marty has garbage. Deuce 4 offsuit. He's going to fold over to Ben Castle. And I know Ben pretty well, and Ben's been pretty quiet at this final table, so I know he's itching to splash around and mix it up. He did double up a few hands ago. And he's going to try to do it again. Re-raising all in here with Big Slick. Lee is going to fold. Now over to Kenny. He quickly folds, as does Alex and Ron. Jack Torkeles, he's going to stick with the pack and fold as well. And so is Pavlin. So action now back to Mike facing an all-in as he min raised it under the gun with ace-jack suited, and he's asking for a count. We can see Ben has 213,000 in his stack. Mike with 711,000.
Not enough for me to fold. I got to call.
And Mike said it, not enough for him to fold. He's going to make the call, and Mike is going to find out he's crushed.
You know what? I like hearts. Way behind. I need a jack or hearts.
Well, he said it. Here is the flop. It is 7 at Jack Queen with a couple of spades, so Mike hits the flop here. And the turn is a 10 of spades. Now Ben way ahead. He has turned Broadway. Also has a flush redraw. The river is the 5 of hearts. And Ben has played 2 hands, and he's doubled up on both of them.
Nice suck out, Ben.
A little under 500,000 in this pot. And Ben Castle, who came to this final table as one of the short stacks, is now looking real good. Wow. Moving on, blinds are still at 12 and 24,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. In this hand, it'll be Pavlin and Mike in the big blind. Marty Gornick is under the gun. He's looking down at Queen 8 offsuits.
I know you were.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, Kenny.
I mean, that's the only thing I don't want to see. The 10,
he's going to fold over to Ben Castle. And Ben is going to look down at a pair of ducks. Ben has never seen a pocket pair he doesn't want to play. Be interesting to see how he's going to play this, being so early.
I want to see a king.
And he is going to choose to raise to 60,000, just a little baby bump. And that's going to get Lee to fold. Over to Alex Ziskin now in the 2 seat. He's going to fold. And now Ron Kruk peels back King Queen offsuit. Pretty hand. He's looking at just a small raise from under the gun +1 in Ben Castle, but he's going to go all in here.
Wake up with a hand, please, one time.
And that is going to get rid of Jack and Pavlin. Over to Mike now.
All in.
And Mike is going to re-raise all in. He woke up with Big Slick. And he wants to isolate himself one-on-one against Ron, but for that to happen, he needs Ben to fold his deuces, which I'm sure Ben is going to do. He wanted to find out where he was at with that little baby raise, and he found out pretty quick.
All right, I've had enough TV time with this pair. I'll fold my deuces.
Ben actually telling the truth there. He is laying down deuces. And Ron is going to see he is going into this flop way behind, just one live card with the queen.
Not too much I can beat right now.
Ron is going to need to get really lucky, or he is going to be our first elimination here at this final table. The flop comes 7-4 deuce with a couple of spades.
Yeah, I like the
No
risk
help
my
to
turn.
Ron. The
There's a
turn is now a 10 of
3 and 4
hearts.
bet on my deuces.
So a queen and only a queen is going to save Ron. Close but no cigar with the jack of hearts. Ron is going to leave us in 9th place, pocketing just over $5,000 for his weekend of poker. Ron getting a well-deserved attaboy from his peers at the final table as he leaves us in 9th place. But before we let him out of the room, here he is with Amanda Leatherman.
All right, Ron, congratulations on making the first final table of our America's Poker Tour, first final table event. How do you think it went?
We had a great time. Would have liked to have done a little bit better, but worked out well.
Do you feel like we jinxed you because you ate dinner with us tonight?
That had to have been it, yeah.
That it?
That had been it.
All right, well, what are you going to do with this money at least?
I have not a clue. Probably put it in action.
Yeah?
Sure,
Are we going to see you at our next event?
definitely.
We are now down to the final 8 as we grind our way to our first America's Poker Tour champion. More poker action when we return.
Welcome back to America's Poker Tour. I'm Amanda Leatherman, and we have 8 players remaining in this event. Let's get back to the action.
So, Alex,
Welcome back to America's Poker Tour here at the Majestic Star Casinos in Gary, Indiana, just outside of Chicago. A little more elbow room at this final table as Ron Kruk was just eliminated in 9th place. And as we begin this hand, it is Lee Shen in the 9 seat, waking up with a pair of ladies. A bad thing to wake up to. Lee contemplating what his move is going to be.
I mean,
Roger's gone.
he moves all in with him against ace.
Blinds are 12 and 24,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. And Lee's just going to take all the guesswork out of this. He's going to go all in
You're a good man. Lee.
with his ladies. And Kenny Wynn is going to make the quick call with ace-jack offsuit. And it's Alex Ziskin now with pocket 10s as he's wondering how much Lee Shin's all-in is. It's 215,000. Kenny in a bad spot here. He's the only one without a pair, but his chip stack kind of made him make this play, and he actually doesn't mind this. He has a chance to triple up here.
We chop up the money, okay, Lee? If you and me lose, we chop up the money.
A poker game broke out, huh?
And action is going to fold all the way around the table back to Marty.
That's all I can say.
Marty hoping he can play this hand, but he cannot. Queen 7 of clubs is his holding.
You might know Alex knew that. I would have just folded my hand. Give me $1,000 extra.
No way Marty wants to play this hand.
A farmer chicken?
Kenny, I might
He's
fold
not much of a
aces here.
snap folder either.
Hey, how many-
Ben
how many
Castle with
girls you
8-6
can bury
offsuit.
to
He
your
is a snap folder. He's like, whatever, guys. Play the game.
That's no
So
good.
the
I
dealer's
got
going to
that
carve
bid.
out a quick
I got
side
that
pot
bid.
here, and the players see what everybody's holding.
I got that bid.
Kenny discovers he has only one live card with the ace.
10 in the window.
Alex sees he's way behind. He's going to need to find a
Okay, you
10
decide, right? I take the
on
bet.
this board to
There's
set
gonna
up.
be a 10 in the window.
And the flop is ace, 10, deuce. What a flop.
What do you say,
Everybody hits but Lee. Alex suddenly with a huge lead in the hand. Now it becomes even more interesting. The king of clubs hits the turn. Now Kenny does not want to hit 2 pair here. That would give Lee the Broadway straight. And the river is a blank with a harmless 5 of diamonds. And Alex Ziskin, double elimination here at this final table. Lee Shin and Kenny Wynn are out in 8th and 7th place at this final table. And boom, just like that, we are down to 6.
Good job, Lee. You played really well, Lee. Just better bid.
Well played.
Players shake hands and go to the cage to get their respective paydays. 5th place going home with just under $11,000, and 4th place just under $15,000. Reminding you this was an $1,100 buy-in, but most of these players got into the main event on a simple $250 qualifier or even a $100
Alex, you
satellite.
needed some room around you, didn't you?
So a nice payday and a fun weekend of poker for these gentlemen. As we continue on with this final table, Jack Torkeles wakes up with ace queen. He raises it to 70,000. Pavlin folds. Now we're over to Mike. Mike is going to make the call with ace 10 offsuits. So the pot quickly swells to 200,000, making it even more enticing for these players to play.
We're gonna give you a hard time.
And now over to the 2 seat with Alex Ziskin with a lot of room around him as the 1 and the 3 seats have been eliminated. He wakes up with ace jack. and he wants to raise it to 250, but unfortunately for Alex, he already staged chips, so the dealer is only going to let him make the min raise, which is 140,000, which makes no matter at this point because Jack is going all in with Ace Jack. And you might be able to make an argument here that Alex could just get away from this hand, but he wanted to bet 250. Jack's all in is 470. He says, why not? Let's gamble. He makes the call, and he's going to find out he needs to get lucky again. We saw Alex just get lucky a moment ago when he set up with a pair of tens, and here it is again. Alex hits his Jack, but Jack still has 2 overcards. The turn is a 3 of hearts, no help to Jack, so he is hoping to find an ace or a queen on the river. The river falls the 6 of clubs. Jack goes into this flop way ahead, but Lady Luck has something different to say. And Alex is going to claim his 3rd knockout at this final table as Jack leaves us in 6th place.
Action started out pretty slow tonight, but it is really picking up in here. We are already down to 5 players. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to America's Poker Tour. I'm Fred Bevel. We are at Majestic Star Casinos here in Gary, Indiana, just outside of Chicago. We started this final table with 9, and we are quickly down to a 5-handed final table. In fact, we've lost 4 players in one blind level as we continue on at 12 and 24,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. And this hand, Ben Castle is under the gun, and he wakes up with pocket aces. Doesn't get any better than that for a starting poker hand. He's going to raise it to 75,000, and over to Pavlin now. He's got just over $500,000 in chips as he looks down at Jack 10 suited. And he is going to make the call from the big blind. So pocket aces against suited connectors. And here is the flop. It is 7-9-6 with a couple of clubs. So Pavlin picks up the flush draw, also has a gut shot straight draw. Ben still ahead with his aces, and Pavlin is going to check over to the original raiser. And here's the thing with aces. You either usually win a small pot or you lose a big pot, and that is not what Ben wants to have happen. He's going to fire 85,000. And with the kind of draws Pavlin has, he is not going anywhere. In fact, he's going to re-raise all in here. So Pavlin is just checked, re-raised all in to Ben, and Ben with pocket aces is going to make the call, and he's going to find out he's ahead, but Pavlin has a lot of outs. Any club or any 8 will give him the winning hand. A jack or a 10 here on the turn will give him even more options. And there it is, the 10 of hearts. So let's open up the door a little bit more for Pavlin. Now any club gives him the flush, any 8 gives him a straight, or he can pair the 10 or the jack, and that's exactly what happens on the river. Runner, runner for 2 pair, and he is going to leave the final table in the worst way, getting your aces cracked. Hopefully, a little under $11,000 is enough of a Band-Aid. As you can see, Pavlin going over to Ben and kind of sheepishly congratulating him and apologizing all at the same time. But that's poker, as they say. Blinds are moving up now, 15 and 30,000. We're still at the 4K ante, and now we are 4-handed. And Pavlin wakes up with pocket 9s. Now we are officially short-handed, so any pocket pair is gold, paint is gold, connectors, you're going to want to splash around with those. The starting hand range opens up vastly when there are fewer players at the table. Pavlin is going to raise it up to 65,000 with his pocket 9s. Over to Marty now. Marty, here's one of those type of hands, ace 7 suited. He's also in the big blind, and he is going to raise all in here with 269,000 in chips, and Pavlin is going to make the call. Why not? You got a pocket pair, and he's going to find out he's in pretty good shape. Marty only has the live ace to beat the pocket 9s, or he can hope for some diamonds here on the flop to give him some more outs. The flop is deuce 4-8, only 1 diamond, so Marty, much like Pavlin had to do, is going to have to go runner runner The turn is the deuce of clubs, so Marty's opportunities dwindling. Only an ace will save him, and it's not going to come. The queen of spades falls on the river, and just like that, Marty is now gone in 4th place, going home with just under $15,000 for his weekend of poker. Let's hear what he has to say. He's with Miss Amanda Leatherman.
What did you think of the action at this table?
It was really a bit unconventional in the way the hands played out and the strength of the hands. The deck came out in favor of some of the not so best stacks or best hands, so it was good. We enjoyed it.
It was good.
I laddered up as a short stack, so I didn't mind laddering up and just hanging tight and playing tight. And
All right, well, thank you for coming to this. Are we going to see you at our next one?
I hope so.
We are quickly down to 3 players remaining at this final table as the money's getting really big now. The next person eliminated is going home with just under $20,000. And one of these 3 gentlemen are going to be our first America's Poker Tour champion. We started with Alex. He folds. We're over to Pavlin now. Pavlin has ace queen, and in 3-handed poker, that's a monster. Alex looks like he's got some raisin chips. He is going to make it 90,000. Over to Mike now. Both Mike and Pavlin have been very aggressive at this final table when they choose to play. Selective and aggressive, always a good strategy. Mike's hole card's not registering with the RFID, so let's play a little game I like to call speculation. Mike is going to make the call.
I know you got short arms.
Both players started this hand pretty even in chips. Pavlin has 1.1 million in his stack. Mike with 100,000 less. The flop is 5-8-4 with a couple of spades. So no help to Pavlin's hand, but he does have the lead in betting, and he's going to continuation bet here. Makes it 85,000. That is a small bet considering the pot size. And now Mike looking at 85 to call, and he is going to say no. Pavlin playing that hand pretty much perfectly. You wake up with a good hand, you raise it, you follow through on the flop, your opponent doesn't hit, you stack a little under 300,000 in chips.
Waiting for your hand.
We continue on 3-handed as we anxiously await who will be America's Poker Tour's first champion right after this.
Welcome back to America's Poker Tour. I'm Fred Bevel, and again, we are at the Majestic Star Casinos here in Gary, Indiana, just outside of Chicago. Now, we started this final table with 9 players, and we are down to the last 3. And one of these 3 gentlemen will be our first ever champion.
Blinds still at 15 and 30,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. The button is on Alex, which makes him under the gun pre-flop. And Alex is going to raise his button. He makes it 70,000 with suited connectors. Pavlin folds over to Mike now. Mike with a baby ace and the big blind with only 40,000 to call. So I suspect he is going to play this hand. And my suspicions were correct. So Mike going to this flop slightly ahead, but both players with live cards. And the flop is 7-8-4 with a couple of clubs. And that gives Alex an open-ended straight draw. Mike checks, and Alex is going to continuation bet as he raised pre-flop. He makes it 95,000 to go. I failed to mention on the flop, Mike did pair. He has the pair of 7s. $262,000 in the pot, and he's going to call the 95,000 chip bet. So on to the turn we go. Turn is the 7 of hearts, and wow, just like that, Mike pulls way ahead, has trip 7s, and he is going to check over to the original raiser, and Alex is going to let the turn go without a bet, and the river brings him the card he needs, the jack of clubs. That gives Alex the straight, and this could get ugly for Mike as he has trip sevens. And this time Mike is going to bet 120,000. Alex has to feel really good about his hand here.
340,000.
Wondering how much he can get. And he is going to re-raise to 340,000.
Call.
Straight.
And Mike correctly just makes the call, and he's going to find out he got beat on the river after being ahead pretty much the whole time. Pre-flop on the flop, went way ahead on the turn, but the river brings that miracle card that Alex needed. And he continues to play well and get lucky at this final table. That is a tough combination to beat. As you can see, Alex posting to Facebook, I got lucky again. Blinds continuing at 15 and 30,000. For TV purposes, we've eliminated a couple of the less exciting hands, so that's why you see Alex on the button 2 hands in a row. Again, he's going to raise it with ace-6 offsuit. Again, it looks like Mike is going to be his opponent. Mike has the better hand with ace-king. And Mike isn't going to mess around this time. He is going all in. And Alex wanting a count from the dealer. Mike only has 437,000 in his stack, whereas Alex has 2.3 million in his. Alex knows he might be behind, but if he thinks he's a coin flip, he might make the call, and that's exactly what he does. And Alex discovers quickly he is not just a coin flip. He is heavily dominated with only the live 6, and now he's posting to Facebook, whoops. But look at that, right in the window. It's the 6 of clubs, and Alex again pulls ahead. Now it's Mike on the ropes, hoping to find a king.
Queen.
The turn is a queen, not high enough for Mike. He needs one tick better. And Alex Ziskin again gets lucky on the flop to eliminate a player. That is his 4th elimination at this final table. He's knocked out half the players here on our first final table. We're going to give these players a little bit of a breather and take a quick break. We're going to crown a champion when we come back on America's Poker Tour. Welcome back to America's Poker Tour, as we are now heads up. One of these two players, Alex Ziskin or Pavlin Karakakov, will be our first America's Poker Tour champion. Blinds are still relatively low at this final table at 15 and 30,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. And here is Alex Ziskin. He wakes up with king-queen offsuit. Alex has eliminated 4 players at this final table. He raises it to 70,000. Over to Pavlin now. And you can see the chip counts in each of these players' hands. Pavlin about a 2-to-1 dog. And he is going to re-raise, makes it 200,000. Opening hand heads up is aggressive. And Alex is going to make the call for 130,000. So our first heads up flop. And it brings 4-8 Jack Rainbow. This doesn't help either player, but Pavlin re-raised pre-flop. It would make sense for him to continuation bet here on the flop, and that's exactly what he does. Makes it 171,000, putting the pressure on Alex. A lot of players in this spot, if they haven't hit, they would fold, but Alex is going to float this bet. Let's see if Alex is staging a play for the turn here. The turn is the ace of clubs. And Pavlin not slowing down. He is staging chips behind his cards. And he is going to bet 240,000. Let's see if that ace scares Alex. Just to recap, Pavlin re-raised pre-flop, bet the flop, and now he is betting the turn. And the ace on the turn and all that aggression is enough to get Alex to fold. Alex may have been staging a play here, hoping to see Pavlin check that turn, and Alex would have had the opportunity to pounce and steal this. But Pavlin kept his foot on the gas pedal, and he is stacking a sizable pot here. Blinds are going up this hand. We are now at 20 and 40,000 with a 5,000 chip ante. The champion here is going home with just over 47,000 in cash, and the runner-up going home with also a great payday at just over 29,000. Alex here wakes up with King Jack suited. Alex has 2.3 million in chips in his stack. And I think after that last hand, Pavlin also has over $1.5 million, and yep, he has 1.6 million. So both of these players still very deep. This final table is either going to end in about 24 hours or with one big massive blow up hand. Let's see here. Alex raised it with King Jack suited, as he should, and Pavlin wakes up with Big Slick. My goodness, these are big cards for heads up poker. He is going to re-raise to 375,000. Alex is going to 4-bet all in, and Pavlin quickly makes the call, and Alex is going to find out he is dominated with only a jack being his live card. Here comes the flop. It is Jack, Ace, King. Oh my goodness, what a flop. Both players pair.
No quote.
Pavlin is way ahead with his pair of aces. And a double up here for Pavlin would quickly turn the tables. The turn is a harmless 5 of diamonds. So for Alex Ziskin, he's going to need to get lucky again like he has all night long, but also playing really well. He needs to find another jack or a king. And there it is. Oh my goodness, it is a jack of diamonds on the river, giving Alex trip jacks, the winning hand, and the tournament. And you can see even Alex chuckled a little bit there as that jack fell on the river. Hey, you have to get lucky to win a poker tournament. I don't care how good you are. Alex definitely did that, but also played a solid game of poker to boot. And you can see the players still sweating this final table come back to give our champion a well-deserved congratulations.
And there you have it. Only a couple of hands later, and we have our first champion here on America's Poker Tour. Congratulations to Alex Ziskin. Pavlin also played a great game as well. He was selective and aggressive. He picked his spots. Unfortunately, tonight, the cards weren't going his way. That's poker, right? He's standing by with Amanda Leatherman.
I'm Amanda Leatherman here with our second place finisher, Pavlin. How are you feeling right now? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I feel great. I think I played very well, and I got it in good pre-flop and didn't hold, so I don't regret anything. I feel good.
You know, you told me something interesting a second ago. You said you went out last night and partied before the final table. Usually people don't do that. They do it after, and you still did really well. I would have been dead.
Yeah, it's kind of a friend of mine had birthday, so I had to go see him. You know, I was thinking I should leave pretty quick because I have to get enough sleep. But you know, like 1, 2, 3 drinks, and then it's.
Then you just keep going.
It's late, yeah.
But it worked out for you. Congratulations. Are we going to see you at our next event?
Yeah, probably. If I have time, I'll travel.
Go party with your friends. They're waiting for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda, and congratulations again to Pavlin. Now, if you ever see Pavlin at your table, you might want to request a seat change. Tonight's victor is Alex Ziskin, and to the victor goes the spoils, and he's going home with a little under $48,000. They say you have to be a little lucky to win a poker tournament. You also have to be good. Alex rammed both of those two together, and that's why he is standing by as our first champion with Amanda Leatherman.
I'm here with our champion of this final table, Alex. Congratulations. You came in with the chip lead. You never lost the chip lead, and now you took it down. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Happy to win.
Yeah. How did your day go? Do you feel like it was pretty easy for you to keep that lead?
Yeah, I was running good all day, even when I got it in bad, which I did a lot. I kept getting there, so.
That last hand, you got it in bad. Did you feel like you were going to lose at that point?
No, the way the day was going, I knew I was just going to win, no matter what.
You just felt it.
It was coming, yeah. Jack was coming.
Well, what are you going to do after this? You going to party? What's happening?
No, I don't know. Just going home, I think.
Going home?
Going to Florida soon after this for some more tournaments.
Congratulations again, and thanks for coming to our event.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Amanda Leatherman, and congratulations one last time to our inaugural champion, Alex Ziskin. What an exciting final table. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did, and I really hope I see you at an upcoming America's Poker Tour event very, very soon. Just log on to americaspokertour.com to find out about upcoming events, and follow us on Twitter for late-breaking tour news at America's Poker TV. I'm Fred Bevel. Thanks again for watching America's Poker Tour.